Hi everyone, I'm Vivian Casaletti. I am a sports marketer and I'm proudly South African and happily living in the beautiful province of Gauteng. And I'm super excited to be joining Barba on the Gauteng Lively podcast. We're going to dive deep into how the creative economy and sports can really help cities and tourism thrive by blending lifestyle and entertainment into a stronger local economy. So stay tuned. Can't wait to share these insights with you and fun anecdotes. I hope you enjoy.
It is the spring to summertime here in the Golden Province of Gauteng. The jackets are off, the flowers are blooming, the trees are evergreen, powering with the energy that characterizes this Golden Province. Welcome to another episode of Gauteng Live, the premier platform where we share, speak, tell, and engage on everything about the visitor economy, how it interfaces with the creative sector, sports, entertainment, and everything else that has to do with the secular economy and the secular world that we live in. My name is Barba Gaoganediwe, your champion host. As we always do, we bring to studio taste and change makers, the people that makes this Golden Province tick, the people that drives South Africa's energy, desire, and enthusiasm to greater heights, the people that are change agents in their own life, in their own rights, throughout the African continent and throughout the world. And my guest for this segment is no different. A dear friend of mine, way back, Viv. I don't know where to start. Vivian Casaletti, welcome to Gauteng Live.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
So finally, we managed to get you into studio from your many travelings. Welcome back home to South Africa.
It's so good to be back. I'm
Really?
so happy to be back. Yeah, I've missed South Africa.
So where have you been? You've been like gallivanting all over.
It's been a busy year. Hey? It's been
Yeah.
a really busy year that's taken me out to Seychelles for 6 months, 7 months, for the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup.
Oh, yes.
We were involved with the organization of the beach soccer, the first one in Africa. So
Yeah.
it was really great. It was a huge success.
Number one.
A lot of South Africans working on this project, which was great, but also just a very successful event.
Yeah.
On the whole, and then after that I came back and I had to miss the winter.
Oh, I can see. So this was deliberate.
No, I had to,
Yeah.
but besides that, I've got Italian heritage, so I went to
Yeah.
visit my family in Italy and was there for a couple of months as well. Also, just the good thing of nowadays in the era we live in is that
You stay
you can work
connected.
remotely, you stay connected, you can
100.
still do whatever you want and be surrounded by the people you love the most. So
The concept of work has changed. You
so
know,
much.
you can walk with your laptop, with your tablet. That time you are cruising, you are sitting in the beautiful beaches of Mauritius. And your background says you are in the office.
Isn't that great?
That's super nice. Viv, let's go back. And you've spoken about your Italian heritage. And being in this city of Johannesburg, the province of Gauteng, which is so pregnant with diversity, from any community you found here. But let's rewind back, to the little town space of Como, back home in Italy. And you and your lovely sister and your brothers, going up and down in those streets. Are you able to take us back then? And did you ever thought one day you will, some few years later, pioneering some of the greatest projects in South Africa?
Well, I must say we've been fortunate, and I regard myself as very blessed to come from a family of adventurous parents. I call them professional immigrants because literally they've lived all over the world.
Yeah.
And, to travel in those days, which is like in the 50s, 45, after the World Wars, the First and Second World War, was difficult, not as easy as now. And they literally moved from Italy to South America. They lived in, I've got a brother born in Argentina.
Yes.
I've got two brothers born in Costa Rica. They lived in so many countries, and then went back to Italy, then went to Australia, then came to South Africa, and I was born here.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed to, first of all, to have that kind of mindset of openness, an open mind to adapt and to integrate and to pivot quite quickly. Because when you come from those kind of families where they say, here, this is a new country, adjust.
Yeah.
Like Amy was born in Italy, for example, and moved to Australia when she was 6. She didn't even know how to speak English, So what do? You just adapt.
You have to adapt.
So very, very lucky. I think that's formed us a lot, made us who we are, like the building blocks of, like you can say, the Casalettis in a certain way, that we see things with a very open mind. And you're right. I regard myself very blessed to be South African and African. I feel that strongly in my veins, as much as I feel Italian.
You are a true embodiment of peoples of the world, because you and your family represent all of those, and then you get to settle in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, in South Africa, in Africa, where the world intersect, and the birthplace of humanity. How lucky and how beautiful that story is.
It's so beautiful. And every time I speak to like people that are not from South Africa or during my travels, and I said, I think the most beautiful thing about South Africans, especially Gauteng and Joburg, is that we are a melting pot. We we know so many religions, and we respect so many religions. We work together. We build together, and I think this is a strength of ours. The fact that we are so culturally integrated. And adaptable. I used to work for a firm that was, it's a Jewish firm. I mean, I know talking about this now is maybe, but we had prayer rooms for, Muslims. We worked together. I was Italian. I used to, listen to, all the
Friday prayers.
Exactly, the Friday prayers. And we used to adapt. Like, I remember I went to Egypt, and my friend's boyfriend is Muslim, and he would be excused for prayer. And I'm like, no, sure, of course, it's time for prayers. You have to go. Let's just be quiet. And he's like, how do you know all these things? I'm like, no, but we live with all kind of religions and this multicultural aspect of South Africa. But Joburg specifically and Gauteng specifically is phenomenal, and it's a strength for us. It's very unique, and for me, I find it as a real USP in my personality, in my character. Even when I take my expertise outside the borders, for me, it's a strength that I can adapt, that I can respect other cultures, and in the different and variety of experiences that we go through. So
100. So your learnings, Viv, as you now move across, but having been born here, which in itself came in as, like a stamp of final approval from your diverse community now. The family represent the multiple continents, that are there. But those early beginnings, the learning, going to school, and that period might have been completely different to where we find ourselves right now. The transition, it was very clear that this country either moves forward with reforms or it sinks. And your early days and recalling of those periods, and what preoccupied your minds, you and your friends back then.
It's funny. We were talking about it just the other day. I was at a dinner with friends that are all our age. I'm not going to give away my age, but the 40s.
There's the same youth and Dalek age group. It got you.
And we were chatting, and I'm like, we were so fortunate to live in the era that we lived, that transition period from post-apartheid, that period, because I just remember it with such fond memories. We were alive, we were the music and the fashion, the magents, everything. It was just, we were just alive, Not that I'm saying that we are not now, because now we are alive in different ways. But
Absolutely.
In those days, we were just going with it. We were just living our best lives.
Yeah.
And you could feel the freedom, you could feel that things were opening up and we were going in the right direction. We were all together. Just the other day, we were remembering how we used to club, and a friend of mine, Amina, and I were like the only white girls in the club, and we would just like wave at each other to respect, like
oh yes.
But we were just partying every day. We would have fun.
Yeah.
We would still go to work. We would still hustle.
Yeah.
We would still wanna build things, And I'm so grateful that I lived that era. There was a time when a lot of people wanted to leave.
Yeah.
They were saying, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? We're immigrating out and stuff like that.
In the meantime, it was the best time to be here.
The pot was cooking, all the ingredients.
Exactly.
That make the poikikos we are dishing now, brewing at that period. I mean, you touched on the music, you touched on the lifestyle, your magents, your Lokshan cultures. That got in the soundtracks of your Kalawa.
Your TKZs, your Mdus,
back then. To what extent Viv did that now started assisting you to even shape your business prowess as you start moving forward to say, now there lies an opportunity to actually create business products and services that addresses or solve everyone's problem than either a minority or the other group. So now, as you are hustling, you are hustling on the base that this thing is brewing, therefore a bigger audience, therefore also, I guess, an opportunity to experiment without really risking so much that could be of either business survival or growth.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And, the background, of my family is sport.
Yes.
Just let me go 2 steps back to go 2 steps forward. So with my family had the rights to Robert Di Kappa.
Yeah.
A brand that's still alive and kicking, and currently also, again, sponsors of the mighty Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go
there. So that really gave me the foundations to be where I am today, and I'm grateful to my family, to my brother, to my sister, that allowed me to live in that time with them and growing the brand where it is today. I wasn't involved. I was just benefiting, to be honest, because I remember I was living in Italy at the time, and when Kappa had all their shops, and the one in Small Street was absolutely my favorite shop. And obviously my sister Amy and Robbie that had the business, they were opening shops all over. They had so many shops. So when it was sales time, it was crazy. The shop was so full. And, Small Street, we would have...
And you will model some of the clothes first because you get them to see
I
first.
had all of it. I had every single tracksuit in all the colors, pink to blue to yellow. But the nice thing is that it integrated so well, the lifestyle with sports. And Kappa was the first sponsor of Mamelodi Sundowns, and then went to Chiefs. And then the first sponsor of the fully integrated and Bafana Bafana.
100, yeah.
The jersey that you see now that's trending now was a design from those times,
Yeah.
So there was the Thunderbolt. So when I used to come on holiday, I used to work in the shop.
Lovely.
And the Small Street shop had Dr. Kumalo arriving and Brenda Fassie arriving and performing on those things. And I'm like, my goodness, this country is amazing.
And then, Viv, in the country, there were 3 most famous people. 3 only in South Africa.
Dr.
Nelson Mandela, Dr. Kumalo, Brenda Fassie. Nobody could touch those,
Amazing.
and you happen to interact with them just freely. But I guess that also comes back from the Italian connection and the origin, and just how Italian communities are organized. Small communities organized around addressing a particular need, whether it's gastronomy, whether it's the tapas, whether it's the clothing, whether it's, your deodoras, whether it's your kapas, there's always been that. And if you trace the story, it comes from this family line, this grandparents who started this, and the heritage gets preserved, and the entrepreneurial part of it, it's on another level. I don't even think in that space there are more formal government employees than there are entrepreneurs there.
We're in Italy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a lot of situations has changed now. We live in quite a particular time. But you're right. Italians were very entrepreneurial. They created things out of nothing, and also the craft, the passion that they put in their craft was
craftsmanship,
outstanding,
the
and still
details.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I feel like the Italian community and the African in general, we've got so much in common, you know, because we love fashion.
Yeah.
We love the nice things in life. We love food. We take pride in having Sunday lunches with the family. Exactly. We love our music.
We love our sports.
We love our sports. We love together in communities. And that's what you find, wherever you go, just a little bit outside of Joburg. We always like to, just come for lunch, come for Sunday lunch, come for this, come for that. So I think there's a lot in common with Italy. In fact, the Italian, we were never really colonizers. We tried with Ethiopia. It went wrong. We couldn't really. Because why? Because we integrated so well within the communities.
Yeah.
And where we went, we really left positive legacies because we are engineers. Italians are very good engineers, mechanical engineers. We build aqueducts, we build houses. They're very good at building and creating, like you said, businesses and just infrastructure from the Roman times,
Yeah, from back in the Roman times.
So I think Italians integrate very, very nicely. And like you say, are very good in laying foundations. Yeah. For the future generations to take forward. Whether the sad fact is that Europe as a whole is an aging population. Italy in premise, So unfortunately, that's the challenge at the moment. That some beautiful artisanal things are being lost a little bit, and also Italians, they're not open to innovation like Africans, I must say. And sometimes they fall behind a little bit. A lot of our brands are now owned not by Italians, they're owned by French, by Americans, by Chinese,
Which now they are able to
take it to the next level, yes. But a lot of things in common, and I think at the heart is the fact that we are community based, and I think that's South Africa in general. I think that we've got a lot of that in common.
And sticking to this theme of community base, and you have lived in it, you have swam in it, it has been part of your DNA, you are always family orientated. I got to meet your family, your brothers, and it's because of just how open and how this interface with us in Gauteng, in the African continent. But the importance of creating, this community base and across, it could be in sports, it could be in our football that I know me and you are quite passionate about. And we were talking earlier on with Coach Pito about the difference when he was in Greece and the like, and the community-based nature of our sporting entertainment infrastructure. That part of what keeps it going is that it's not something that at a boom is highly commercialized, but there's so season tickets, when they are sold, all the families buys. At 11 o'clock, it's a gathering at the famous joint to have a pre-match meal, and then everybody, and it becomes a tradition that creates almost permanency and create longevity over whatever that gets built there, and the other generation that comes through almost assimilate, and there's a continuous growth in it. Your reflection on such a culture?
Yeah, for me, community is really at the base of everything. Like in sports specifically, whether it's a fan base, obviously a fan base. You can see what our Soweto Giants have done.
Absolutely.
They were so relevant in their communities where they came from, and then obviously the on the field then expanded their brand to what they are today, the success and all of that, because everyone loves a winning team, and we cry together, we joy together. But community, it was born from community. Fans are community, and that's why for me, every single club, every single sports must always be fan first. They must always have a fan first approach, because without fans, you don't have anything. You can act like a big shot, you can be here, you can be there. Without a fan base, those are your number one. That's your number one asset. And it was in the past like it is today. Things have changed because now we're talking about digital communities. There we talk about present.
But the digital community are not there to act as the 12 persons on the field.
No, they're not. And that's and that's the thing. And that's where clubs need to innovate, where teams need to innovate. You need to bring them to the stadium. You need to give them a reason. Yes, you're playing, you're providing entertainment, and that's great, and we respect that. But you need to add value to their life, because fans are sacrificing a lot. They are traveling. Some fans travel a lot. They're spending money on travel. And it's not only themselves. It's not only me going to the stadium. Now I've got my friend, or I've got my cousin, I've got my son, my daughter, my wife, husband, whatever. So now you're 3 going to the stadium. Now you're paying for transport. Or you're using your own car, your petrol. Now you have to buy tickets. Now you have to buy food. And obviously, you're not going to go branded. I'm going to have my jersey.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, maybe we'll meet somewhere for a pre-match meal or post-match or whatever. So it's a whole economy created by a match day. Let's call it a match day. But now, first, that's all we had. We had music, we had football or sports, whatever, rugby, whatever the case may be. Now we are competing with so much. Sport is still number one, but we are competing with watching it on the comfort of our couch at home. We are competing with other types of content on your tablets. You're competing with so many other things. Your kids now are older. They need to do so many activities.
Reality TV that you can watch at your leisure at any time.
And it's changed a lot. So I think it's time for innovation. There's no excuse in having an empty stadium, in my opinion. You need to create an environment that is friendly for families, that is friendly for youth, that is engaging enough for them to have a reason beyond the game to come to the stadium.
Absolutely.
But then again, your digital communities are very, very important, because those give you eyeballs, those give you reach, those give you numbers, and all that data is monetizable. So you can translate that into revenue. And at the end of the day, clubs and sports, they just want to see how much money, how much money they can bring in the coffers, because it's expensive to run a club. It's expensive to run a sport. It's not for everyone.
No, it's not child's play.
It's not child's play. So how do you strike that balance now in monetizing your fan base, but also creating value and an experience for them to say, actually, you know what, I actually do want to go watch a game. I do want to go watch a basketball game. I do want to go watch a Sekukune game.
So Viv, let's and still in this theme of localized community, and the Robbie Di Kappa breakthrough into South Africa. But just like if you go back to the Italian community set up, where you now are able to create almost global brands that are what I call local. So global with the local impact, or local produced with the global impact. So this might have been built in Soweto, and it's called loction culture. But that loction that is there, which is a slang for ekasi, it's a representation of every other location or kasi in South Africa. They see themselves in it, and it's no longer just about this being made in Soweto, but that in itself translate into local production that are of regional, national, continental, and even global reach. Will we say that's actually even how it started shaping you guys' approach in creating the merchandise, say for Bafana Bafana, that I know you were heavily involved in producing, taking those learnings, but also being crit and streetwise around incorporating that the fan wear is different from the players wear, but it must match the GP lifestyle, because you are in Gauteng, you are in Johannesburg. So the match for Bafana as it prepares for the World Cup must also reflect, the dynamism of the city, the spaces and the places that people live in.
Of course. I mean, that's fundamental because, and we replicated it very nicely in Seychelles as well for this Beach Soccer World Cup that just took place in May.
Lovely.
But respecting culture is number one for me. You need to respect the brand that you are representing and have that reflected in the merchandise. And then the fact that it can have an economic impact as well, whether it's design or whether it's manufacturing, distribution. And for the Bafana merchandise that we did, and it was so nice collaborating with you and doing all these activations around South Africa. What was important for us is our mission for that range and for the World Cup was to make official Bafana merchandise available to everyone.
Absolutely.
Because people don't buy Hong Kong because they want to. It's because they can't afford the original.
Yeah, but also availability,
exactly,
access.
And accessibility. So what's important is to make, and it's still in the strategy, which I was checking the other day, is to make a product affordable and accessible to everyone. So that was our strategy, and that's why we had different ranges for different retail outlets.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we had a beautiful fashion range in Woolies. We had a basic fan wear range in Pick and Pay. Then we had something in Total Sports. We had a range, and it had to match that price point, for the fan to have it accessible. And then obviously we had all these pop-ups at the stadiums, and it was such a well-received range because there was so much available for everyone's pocket, and it was official stuff. And some of the materials might have not been made in South Africa because obviously of our industry. Unfortunately, our clothing industry,
manufacturing is still textile,
at the time, exactly. But what we did is bring in the materials to make it that affordable and just finish it in Durban. There's a great manufacturing setups, Cape Town as well. So we brought in the materials and we finished the product in South Africa because we really wanted this range to have the right impact on the economy and make it available to everyone. And for Seychelles, and I was in charge of the merchandise and retail of this World Cup, Beach Soccer World Cup. We sort of had the same idea, but obviously it had to be applied to their
environment.
And Seychelles is a tiny island. I mean, it's so funny because we were laughing. We say, the total population of Seychelles is 110,000 people in so many islands, but with my Mahe being the biggest island. And I said, you can fit the whole population of Seychelles in FNB Stadium.
Absolutely. Not even.
So we used to laugh about
not even the population of Randburg. Just the match day fans at the stadium.
So you can imagine the environment and retail infrastructure. It's very different. There was one big retailer. Everything was very much informal. But the thing is that the range represented Seychelles.
But I guess that also creates almost a blueprint, because now they have something to follow through, and which is what you guys did with the Bafana match. But will you say, Viv, now going back and looking at the landscape, we spoke about the retail, the textile industry, and some of the challenges it's facing. And now with the tariffs, now with the trade wars, it doesn't even look like it's going to get better. With the flood from a lot of Chinese material that comes in. And that juxtaposed with the need to still service this industry, firm it, get it to a level where it is able to compete. But we've seen that happening with the music space, with Amapiano. But how do we ensure that we protect our African prints? How do we, like we're just coming from Heritage Day, but in the modern day way in which merchandise is used to advocate and tell a story, especially about our places and spaces. And out of your experience, both dealing with the Bafana and the Seychelles and the World Cup, your message and advice to the current designers, the entrepreneurs that are in that space, that could even leverage on some of the bumper events we have, in Gauteng. I have not seen a special match created for special events like it's done in Europe, for example, when there is a Classico, there's a special scarf that is for that date, El Clasico. Will you say it's something that we can do, obviously tweaking it to fit the local conditions?
Yes, going back to Seychelles, I had most of the manufacturing. For us, it was very important to have it regional, so it had to be African. Yeah. There were very few things made in China just because they are the best. So the plush mascot, the key rings and all of that. But all the clothing that we did for the Seychelles World Cup was made in Africa. Yeah. The mini soccer ball was made in Kenya, but majority of the clothing came from South Africa. Perfect. Just because
of the infrastructure and the
Seychelles doesn't have that
and the capabilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there are small little CMTs that exist within our economy that are perfectly set up to create small ranges for specific events. Yeah. And I love that idea, Baba, because, either you're a big manufacturer that can supply Woolworths and Cape Union Mart and Mr. Price Sport, that's fine. But how can a small entrepreneur capitalize or leverage, let's say, these events? And yeah, you're right. Europeans do it very well, even without having rights. And listen, owning rights to manufacture things with the logo is very important.
Absolutely.
I am totally against people that use the logo without having those rights to do it. But then again, the colors, you can use colors, you can use wording that doesn't infringe in any rights. And you as an entrepreneur can maybe benefit from music festivals. Like even at music festivals, you can, artists make their own merch. Like if a famous artist, like a South American reggaeton artist, whatever, like Bad Bunny now, is performing, he will have his little stand with merch.
Absolutely,
just with the date, Johannesburg, 25th of September 2025, because people want to. That's a memory for them,
and instantly that reflect that specific space. And like you're saying, the colors, Soweto Derby, clearly is not a logo nor a patented thing. I'm just giving out an example. Doesn't belong to anyone. It's actually our categorization and expression of that, which has its own history. Therefore, there lies opportunities to leverage and still operate within the means. And if brands, if teams are starting to see this now, it forces their own divisions, marketing divisions, merchandise to also come to the party. But you also open up the space for entrepreneurship, but also for collaborations, I guess. I mean, I saw Tebe, Magugu, some people
stuff.
just saw stuff with Lauren Hill and Winecliff now, but actually many forget that he actually partnered with Adidas to do the Paris jersey.
And it was the most beautiful jersey ever. And also, he collaborated with Protea, if I'm not mistaken, and he did hotel rooms specifically for Orlando Pirates, because Protea is a sponsor of Orlando Pirates. I don't know if it's still
Marriott Group. Yeah, it is.
But I love that. For me, I'm all about collaboration. You know, and I think we're stronger together. You know, you're not successful on your own. You're always successful with your team, and positive collaborations and mutually beneficial collaborations are it for me. I mean, you know, a sports brand can only reach so much, and a clothing brand can only reach so much. So that's now you're tapping into each other's communities. You are telling stories where people maybe didn't know your story through a collaboration. And you see it a lot now with luxury brands entering the sports market. You know, you've got your Louis Vuitton's sponsor of Formula One and building these beautiful trophy cases. Then you've got, obviously the obvious ones are the clothing brands that dress all these athletes on and off the court, you know. And there's just so much collaboration, because luxury brands specifically are seeing an untapped market for them. And you'll see a lot of brands doing sports gear now.
But entrepreneurial ones, Viv, and I get you, and let's bring it to South African and Gauteng community context. And personally, that's where my gripe is with some of our mainstay teams, especially in football. If you are Mamelodi Sundowns, you are Mamelodi Sundowns not because it's just a name, but you are Mamelodi because Mamelodi is your hood. Mamelodi is your DNA. Mamelodi is where you are located. If you are Orlando Pirates, you are Orlando Pirates because Orlando is your bones. You get what I mean? And irrespective of what circumstances, I always argue, you will never see Everton going to play their home matches, you know, in Sunderland or in Nottingham, because the Merseyside space is their space. Therefore, when you start looking at the value chain and you look at, say, the Tshwane Derby match that could be, what does the Mamelodi community do to accentuate on that day their prowess and positioning vis-a-vis those that are coming from Atteridgeville, so that it becomes the competition of the two townships. And Siwelele fans are doing it quite well in the Free State, where they even travel with their own colours to other teams' games. But across the sports code, then if you get a Randbeck, a basketball team that plays in the Africa Basketball League, how do we transition from that being just a naming convention for the team to it imbuing and articulating and representing that community, so that you are then able to build from bottom up? The manufacturers in that community says, I must produce Randbeck basketball team match first. I must prioritize them. I must get the schools to buy into it and the like. Therefore, you are creating a community that is localized. Therefore, this one sports ecosystem touches the different spaces. All of a sudden, when Mamelodi Sundowns plays with Lamontville Golden Arrows, it's Lamontville versus Mamelodi, not just on the soccer field, but in how this gets presented.
Yeah, well, phew, that's a great idea, and that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we are very much community based, and all these teams have such a huge heritage of where they come from. And it's not easy, Barba, because you need people that are proactive, that are open-minded, that want to collaborate, and are not doing it just for themselves. They are doing it for the good, for the greater good. Let's just say that. And so it's about collaboration and getting everyone in the community to see the benefit and working together to have every single touch point of leveraging that platform of sport. And Como, going back to Como, did it so well.
Yeah.
Because when the Indonesian
Como is
Como is a city on the lake.
Yes.
So people know Lake Como
Lake
because
Como.
George Clooney's got a house on
there.
there. It's always been beautiful, by the way. But it used to be the holiday residence of the nobles in the time of the king
the
of
Roman
Italy.
Empire.
Yeah.
No,
not even. Yeah,
not
a little
even.
bit later. But that's where the nobles in Milano used to go on holiday. So that's why there's all these beautiful houses on the lake and these beautiful villas and all of that. And it became famous. It's always been famous, but it really reached global awareness because of George Clooney, and now Drake wants to buy a house there and whatever. But its beauty is just stunning.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful, very small little city, but very fancy. Let's just call it. It's a bit zhuzh, And it's on the Swiss border, and it's about 40 kilometers from Milano, so it's like also strategically positioned. But I forgot the family Hortons, I think, from Indonesia, why they bought Como, because first of all, it was a distressed asset, because I don't know if you remember, it went into liquidation. Then Essien's wife wanted to buy it, and then didn't come up with the funds. Anyway, so it went into liquidation. So from Serie A, it went all the way to Serie B, Serie C, and then it was out. Then this family, who is one of the richest families in Indonesia, they do alcohol and tobacco.
Okay.
Bought it. But with their first intention was to use it as a platform for their players to develop.
Okay.
But then they got the right people involved, and just in 1 year it went to Serie A. In 1 year it went up a league, and now it's the second year that in Serie A. So what they did cleverly is that they said, the team belongs to the city.
Yeah.
It's an integral part of the city. The stadium is on the lake.
Yeah.
You have a view of the lake as you're watching the game.
Yeah.
But football is the platform. So how do we integrate the team, the football into the city?
Yeah.
So now what they are doing, they are using the status of Como as a revenue stream, because now they don't only make football gear, they make Como merchandise, because Como is so aspirational
now. Yeah.
Now what do? They do tickets. The tickets to come to the game are inclusive.
So it's a package.
It's a package. It's inclusive of a boat ride around the lake, go to a typical restaurant to eat the typical food, meet the players, or it's a whole package, the whole experience. And I've recently listened to the CEO talk, and it's amazing the business model around that team. It really relies on the city heavily. And they are doing flexi tickets.
Perfect.
So that the international, because there are so many international fans coming
now,
because they just want to see the city. And while I'm watching the city, let me go to the stadium that's amazing, and let me see Cesc Fabregas, and let me see Morata, and let me see all these. So my Sunday is so easy to just have lunch, go to the stadium, walk to the stadium, watch the game, and then go, on a lake.
Have a boat cruise dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're doing a flexi ticket so that people overseas, because Europe is so small anyway, people overseas can buy a ticket and then use it, redeem it whenever they're in Italy.
Wow.
How amazing is
amazing.
that?
So you can imagine
so
that being done, Viv, for our derbies, but also equally our teams are doing very well now in continental championships. So that means more visiting fans.
Yes, more visibility.
From Al-Alis of this world, from the north to the western African part of this world. there's almost a guarantee that Mamelodi Sundowns will be in the Champions League. Pirates is there. Chiefs is now in the Confed Cup. We hope they will be able to sustain this because we are the home of champions.
Absolutely.
And champions plays in championships. But that gives us an opportunity to, from the side of tourism, to start packaging with the city, packaging with the teams. You can imagine the group in Mamelodi, supporters clubs of Sundowns, host the Al Alis on this tour of Mamelodi to Solomon Mahlangu Memorial, to the square, to the city center, and they have access to this, and the game is on Sunday, and Monday before they leave they have the Mkhodu Monday in the township, but they are also able to go back home with a piece of the city that is not just about the team or the match, a piece of the city that is incorporated. Surely, Viv, the cities can come to the party. The cities can contribute its infrastructure. Our cities have buses. Our cities have rail networks.
We have the best infrastructure in Gauteng.
But I'm saying offering that so that the teams and its management and their community or fan-based structures can package. So now when you have a bus, now you have a ticket, now you have a Nelson Mandela Memorial open or the Apartheid Museum opened before the match. Yep. Surely you will have the ingredients that can make this package that you are speaking about.
Absolutely. It's about the experience. I come to watch a Champions League game because it's my team and it's my passion. But what experience? Now I'm traveling. So now I want an experience. So it's about creating an experience. And I really think that what you said is really untapped. The African visitor that is traveling, okay, it's not a lot, but how are we packaging that for the visitor? How do we make it more valuable for them? I've got 10 fans traveling. It's a small amount, but I'm just saying I've got 10 fans traveling. How do I make that experience so fantastic that the next time there'll be 20, that the next time there'll be 50 and 100 and etc. Soweto Derby is an international renowned derby. I mean, the other day, Ian Wright was talking about it in Gary Neville's podcast and they were talking about derbies around the world which they want to attend. So obviously everyone is talking about Super Classico, Boca Juniors, River Plate. But Ian Wright says, what about the Soweto Derby between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates? And he says, I've actually been there, but it's electrifying. Yeah. So why can't we take that and package it? Because, a lot of our sport is very event based. It happens on that day and that's it. How do we turn it into an experience where people come to visit and they stay actually 3 days 100. So that it has real impact on tourism, it has real impact on the economy and also for the teams, because now your brand visibility is so much bigger, and now that fan that is traveling actually to see another team will come back with the memorabilia of the home team, because I'm proud to have been at the FNB Stadium.
Designing and be deliberate about creating an experience that is fan-centric, that is user-centric, and that is consumer-centric is part of what we are all about here and trying to share. Until we come back, have a look at the segment. Welcome back to Gauteng Live, the platform where we share, tell, and engage on everything the visitor economy, how it interfaces with the sports, entertainment, the creative sector, transportation, and everything else that makes the circular world and secular economy we are living in. I'm still with my guest, the fabulous Vivian Casaletti, the Afro-Italian, Mexico, whatever, persons of the world. Viv, we were talking about, before we went on a break, the importance of this localized, but localized that has a global reach. The same way we are consuming the El Clasico, we even think it's ours. We invest so much in it. We schedule our time and the like. But this drives the economy. People move from one place to another. Simply, Europe is also small, but they don't even have big stadiums like we do. So therefore, if Chris Brown is able to fill up FNB Stadium 2 successful days, it means we surely have the infrastructure. But your reflection also on the talent and the skill set, because to host the derby, there is so much, and you have been involved in some of this. You are just coming back from the beach, World Cup. There's so much that gets involved before the actual whistle blows.
Yeah.
The skills, the training, the coordination that gets involved, the assets, the infrastructure, the sound. I was at the recent match. It was the concert, and it was a soccer match. And I was like, the sound, no, is the MTN 8 final at Mbombela.
Nice.
Just some few weeks.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by the quality of the sound infrastructure. And shout out to MTN. They did a great 15 minutes pre-final experience. That was fantastic. Yeah. But I just wanted to have that sound for a concert now, because I felt 90 minutes was not enough to actually experience that quality that was there. The match went into extra time, as you remember, so I got to experience the sound even a bit longer. Yeah. But my point here is on the infrastructure, the collaborative infrastructure that makes up the final product that me and you sees on television or sees when the whistle blows. The importance of such talent and infrastructure and the skill sets to keep it going every day, every week, every month.
Yeah, I mean, sports is not just what you see on the field. There's so much that goes in the around and happens in the background, like exactly what you said. It's about putting on this show. It's entertainment at its best, right? And especially cup finals. And I mean, and remember at our time at Chiefs, I mean, for us, we started the entertainment at the stadiums. We were the first to bring music and collaborate with Sony Music, with YFM at the time, and bring entertainment at the games. We were the first. So it's about giving that experience again. But just to show you how big this industry is, it's not only about the footballers. It's not only about the administrators. There's the physio, there's the ball boys, and who organizes the ball boys, and then the kit, and who washes the kit, and who numbers the kit, and who makes sure the boots are shining, and who makes sure that the nutrition that the players are getting is optimal for their performance, and who makes sure that they get massaged so they don't get injured.
The equipment's used there.
And who does hospitality, and the food, and the vendors. And there's a whole, like you say, there's a whole economy. And to get involved in sports, people mustn't think that, it's only what you see on the field. If you want to get involved in sports, there's so many things that you can be involved in. And now in the digital era that we're living in, the creator industry is just booming. Yeah. I mean, fans are commentating or creating their own content, which is fantastic. I love it. Yeah, what about data analytics? Now we actually can track how much the player runs and stops and turns, and there's just so much data. There's another industry altogether.
So the analysts who thought they are studying data analysts to analyze the data of the economy and the markets, now they are an integral part of the team's performance. because now they are able to tell the technical team, actually the opposite players, what is their performance and what they need to do to encounter. How fantastic is that?
No, it's amazing. I love it, and I love technology in sport. To be honest, I absolutely love it because it's just making our product better.
Yeah.
It's opening doors to industries that we didn't even think about. It's doing things more efficiently and effectively, and also allowing us to be more efficient from a financial perspective as well, from all the accounting, from buying players, trading players.
Yeah.
You can now measure how there's so many metrics that you can measure the return on investment. Or, still listening to the CEO of Cornwall, how they've applied the Moneyball strategy to buying players. So they buy only players that meet their metric of, investment versus return.
Oh, lovely.
They don't buy
Yeah.
a Messi. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
a Ronaldo or a
Yeah.
Messi and spend 100 million trillion. No.
On one person. Yeah.
No, they
You know.
buy a youngster that they know they can invest in and hopefully resell because
That's the business strategy.
it's exactly. So they will never, he was saying, they will never overspend on a player.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
Because they want to achieve, obviously they'll need good players, but they can achieve those players by having a clever scouting system.
So the importance, Viv, of this sports entertainment sector and its interface, with corporate world, corporate South Africa, brands that traditionally, like we spoke about, the now the high end fashion brand,
Luxury,
now the Ballon d'Or comes inside this huge, specially designed Louis Vuitton suitcase, and I don't know after that, they give it to the player or what? But I'm saying we have seen this interface of luxury brands and equally the importance of localized brands. And we spoke about Tebe Magugu, how he has been able to collaborate, with the likes of Pirates, now with the music and the like. But the sports economy and the role that corporate South Africa will need to play, and how this translate into increased visitation, increased brand awareness. So I'm comparing like Discovery in the heart of Sandton, Africa's richest square mile, with one of the most striking building and design. Surely I know they're involved in grassroots sports to a certain extent, the fields and the like. But don't you think there lies an opportunity to actually use the power of sports entertainment to showcase this massive investment? I've always been seeing, so this building is just for the people that works here. It's such a striking thing that I think it must be in movies. It must be in postcards. It must be in these things. But don't you think there lies an opportunity for corporates to actually collaborate with the sports entertainment, whether it's a Joy of Jazz concert 100 meters away from this building that includes a tour on Friday of the building before you go and serenade yourself with Jazzy GP sounds?
Yeah, sponsorship is a difficult industry. Sports and entertainment are always looking for sponsors to come on board and to support because it's expensive. Yeah. It's expensive to run a club. It's expensive to put up an event, whether it's music or sports or cultural, whatever. But sponsors nowadays are looking for return on investment. They are not looking for brand visibility anymore because these brands that you're talking about are brands that exist in our market. Unless you are wanting to enter the market,
you are starting, you want to enter,
Yeah, exactly. You want to enter, then sports and these kind of festivals are the best platform for instant visibility. There's nothing like sports as a marketing platform. Yeah. But existing brands need to motivate every rand or every dollar that they spend on whatever investment that they make. And sport is no different.
100.
So if Discovery or whatever, they are involved in sports, not in a big way. They invest a lot in athletes.
Absolutely.
And maybe not team sport, but I mean, Discovery has supported sport in the past. But they are these brands that have maybe pulled out like from Premier Soccer League, like an ABSA or whatever, or I'm just,
Giving
all
out
these
an-
big
got
brands.
you, yeah.
An example. They want a return on investment. If they are spending hundreds and millions of rands in a sponsorship, they need to have, you need to give them reason to sponsor you, right?
Yeah.
And you need to show them how to make a return on investment. Yes, it's up to the brand to leverage and up to the brand to create that return, but the rights holders need to be in a place where they can provide value. Yeah. I'm not giving you money for charity.
Yeah.
Those days are over. Because I've got a CSR budget that I will give to beneficiaries.
Yeah. But that budget is gone.
Exactly. Is monitored.
Is monitored.
Exactly. You need to be accountable. So nowadays, providing value to your sponsors is fundamental, and it's no more about you can get 3-to-1 return on investment.
I'll put the logo up there.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's metrics that can measure everything, and that's why the digital space is so important, because you can measure.
Yeah,
that's why eyeballs viewership is so important, because you can measure it and you can actually give a rand value to all of that. That's why activations are so important, because now you can sign up, you can collect data. That's why the betting industry is the biggest, gaming industry is the biggest sponsor of sports in the world.
Right.
Why?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because first of all, they make so much money.
Yeah, but also there's that direct interaction.
Yes, there's data collection. There's first-hand data which can be used to create that return. And that's why, and I think sports in South Africa and Africa are lagging behind and need to jump onto this new technology, because you can actually create new assets that sponsors can view as valuable to sponsor, and provide first-hand data and measurable returns to your sponsors. Sponsors are not going to just give you money because you're Vivian and you're cool. You know what I'm saying?
So the interface of that, Viv, and maybe that might be your focus right now. I mean, we have seen even the strong emergence of digital gaming.
Huge.
And the skill set required for that. There might be youngsters, creatives watching and listening to us around the opportunities that are there to create this form, or to create this pre-experience and scene setting before the actual thing that you do. So when you play a Gauteng 5, don't ask me what is a Gau 5. It's the 5 teams that are in the PSL that are in
just
Gauteng.
Created an event.
I just created the Gau 5 now. And these now are in a digital metaverse. They are playing at Makhulung Stadium in Tembisa, which might not have so much of the rights issues that me and you know characterize major stadiums. So that stadium belongs to the municipality. So now they are at Atteridgeville, Lucas Moripe Stadium. They are at George Taibe Stadium in the Val. All of a sudden, these are township community-based stadiums where teams could actually start leveraging in the digital space, and they play in the digital Gau 5 tournament. And that's how we then enter the space. But before that, they must collect their points or whatever that gives them access at the local Chisanyama in a game. So that's the part of the space, and I know you have been involved in
and
that.
And it excites me so much.
And it excites you.
I love it.
Your reflection on it and some of the nuggets that we can share on how this could be solidified, especially with the diminishing resources that you are correctly articulating that are characterizing the sponsorship world, where companies are no longer just dishing, they are looking for empirical evidence.
Absolutely, and this digital era we're living with provides us with so many opportunities. And what you're saying is so crucial, because the fan has changed. Okay, I mean, in my days of Kaiser Chiefs, we were the first team to have a website in 2000. Now it's like they've got the biggest. Chiefs has got one of the biggest social media reach ever.
Yeah, you created a ladies team. I remember even back then when it was not even an official; it was a celebrity
exactly.
ladies team.
So going back to that, the fan has changed. The fan that we used to market to has tremendously changed to the fan now, and what I am seeing is that we still have like a sort of an old school kind of fan coming to the stadium, but we are not catering to the youth.
Yeah.
The youth have different needs from us. From me and you that go to the stadium just because we love the vibe and we want to go there and we want to have a little chisanyama, whatever. The youth don't care. They don't care about that. So we need to create content. We need to create experiences that aims at catering to the youth, because Africa will be the most populated continent by 2030 with the biggest amount of youth under 35, under 35, in the world.
Very
so first of all,
very youthful continent.
So first of all, brands overseas need to and teams need to catch a wake up, because Africa is now.
Yeah.
And they need to enter this market and need to capture this audience now. And second of all, local teams need to catch a wake up as well and understand that your fan now is not going to be your fan in the next 5 years. So what are you doing now to capture that audience? You need to innovate. You need to provide. You need to look at outside of what you're doing now and need to create experiences that cater to that. You need to create content that is 5 minutes long, that can give you a highlight of a game.
Everything
that you need to give the behind the scenes of your players with a subscription. This is fine, but that are little nuggets of content that the youth can access and still love your team. Because I'm seeing that we love the youth is following Mbappe and Yamal more than they're following our local players.
Absolutely,
but it's not their fault. It's just that
what is put in front of them.
We are not catering to. We're not thinking 5-10 years time. We are thinking now, and everything that is happening now is okay. And this is my opinion, and please, I don't want to offend anyone by saying that, but we need to open up our horizons, and technology and the digital era we're living in provides us with that, right? Because now teams and all sports are media companies as well, because they're providing entertainment, they're providing content.
They even own that content. They even want to.
They're creating documentaries.
Absolutely,
behind the scenes. And what you were saying about the Gau 5 is already existing internationally, and we were talking about Piqué and what he's done with the Kings Cup, with the Kings League, and now there's a Ballers League in the UK as well. What they've done, they have linked real life experience with the digital experience. So they've taken the gaming element, which has no barrier, because kids are playing games, whether you like it or not, and they're engaging with people living in China.
So it's edutainment.
They are engaging in gaming, gamification. Now, obviously, football is a big game. E-football is a big game. So they've taken the electronic gaming, the gaming on computer, on phone or whatever, and they've brought it into real life experience. So now the gamers, together with former footballers, can play a final match in an actual arena.
Wow.
And it's streamed live. Everything is done.
So there lies the opportunity for these stadiums that I was talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. We could do the same thing. I know there's already a league, and we have a national team, actually, a gaming national team.
To the competition somewhere.
But there's no stopping these clubs creating a digital league and competing and getting gamers to play against each other, and then have an actual physical game in real life at one of these stadiums.
It's a precursor to your take, Viv, as we wrap up on. I guess you have been to the Phillies games. You've seen the Phillies games, Brazil, Muhodi's games in Tembisa, the township gravel games, the skills that are there, and they were telling me that they actually got people all over the world reaching out to them. So we had the Phillies games in our Indaba Tourism Indaba stand
lovely.
this year. So they were there and they were telling us that they get calls and people reaching out from as far as Argentina, Venezuela, Brazil. They are fascinated by the skills that the players are doing there. And, it's outrageous skills. Some of them, I don't even think the rules allows players to do that. But, and we're sitting. So your take on that type being interfaced with gamification, all of a sudden that becomes a proudly and unique South African and African offerings that interface with digital. Now you don't just play into a full match. You can even compete on skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not surprised South America would love that because they also like that, right?
Yeah.
They play on the beaches, on the streets. They in a way, they're very similar to our Kazi style vibes, the favelas and all of that. So absolutely. Baba, honestly, this digital space, you set your own limits to what you can do and what you can't do. It's just amazing. And for me, what is even more amazing that the world has become so small thanks to all
then
of
you
this.
Can be anywhere,
you
anytime.
Can connect to an Argentinian player with skills from from Tembisa. So that for me is really, really amazing. And yes, as you can be as creative. A lot of people are afraid of AI and all this automation that's going on. But creativity, you can never steal creativity.
Yeah, and the individual and the human touch out of it. So what is Viv preoccupied with now? And I know you're always cooking. You're always doing something. What can we expect from you? What are you working on now?
Well, obviously, merchandising is a very big part of what I've always done, and now coming on the back of a very successful event with FIFA, and we recorded the biggest sale ever, and the most successful merchandising range that beach soccer has ever had. So I'm very proud of that. So I'm definitely working on collaborating with other events to see how we can create sustainable revenue streams for events, for sporting brands. So that's very important. But then again, I am in the gaming space as well, and leveraging, providing opportunities to create new revenue streams for sports. I can't really go into the detail of it, but
you see how excited you can see my face.
I'm so excited about this digital era we live in, because honestly, you can be as creative, but you also need brand holders. To allow you to be creative, because Kaizer Chiefs at that time, when we were at Kaizer Chiefs, we were able to do what we did.
They gave you the space
because we had a visionary leader like Kaizer that said to us, you can have a website. I don't know why. But
show me why.
Show me why. Exactly. So believed in what you were doing. Our mission was to be the first at everything. We had to be the first. Chiefs had to be the first of doing everything. So you need leadership that believes in you and believes in what you're doing. You can't be reckless, obviously, with
for sure. There must
financial. There has to be accountability. Exactly. But you need brands that are, and I find this lacking in South Africa specifically. You need brands that want to risk it, that want to be different, that are not afraid of being creative and thinking outside the box.
Me and you need to talk further out of this. We have just created, by the way, a digital game. You at Gauteng Tourism.
Oh, wow!
Gauteng, so you can play in the union buildings. Amazing. Literally play and end up on the president's desk.
Oh, wow!
And mess up with the papers there. The GP lifestyle merchandise needs to reach out. So me and you need to talk.
Absolutely.
Me and you need to
Let's
talk.
Rekindle
because the opportunities are out there. Your favorite traditional food in Gauteng, and where do you get it?
Oh, goodness. There's so much here. And, I'm vegetarian. So it's not as easy to say I'm going to a Chisenyama.
There's a leafy lamb shank.
No, you're kidding me. Are you kidding me?
No, so there's a leafy lamb shank as much as there is a
Really?
non-alcoholic gin.
Oh yeah, that's great. But I do drink alcohol, so it's fine. And sure. But my favorite gin doesn't come from this province. I think I need to taste more local gins.
Yeah, but so long as it's South African,
it's South African, 100%.
Yeah.
So my favorite food has to be, being a vegetarian is quite difficult. But your chakalakas, your spinach, I love the steamed bread.
Dumpling.
Oh, that's my favorite. I'm a bit limited, but Indian food is great because
you mix everything
exactly
in
the
and
paneer,
the flavors are there.
exactly.
Yeah.
But we're spoiled because we've got such good food. We got such good food in South Africa and in Gauteng in particular with some of the best restaurants. But street food is always my best. You know, I love grabbing your fat cooks and your street food. Obviously, I'm limited because I'm vegetarian and it's not acceptable to be an African vegetarian, but I am.
One song that you think represent the energy, the zeal, the determination of Gauteng, and you're a music junkie, so that shouldn't be a problem for you.
Well, it's definitely house music because I love it so much. And it's old school.
Yeah.
It has to be an old school song. What always gets me? You caught me there. I knew you were gonna ask me this question. I was looking at what's a new Amapiano song that I like that, and I couldn't even find one.
Yeah, because there are just so many.
There's so many coming out every day.
Buzzing
Every day coming out. Listen, for me, it's Kwaito. Yeah. I'm a Kwaito girl through and through. So just give me an Umdu, give me, a TKZ. The old school for me is mid-tempo. Yeah. Always gets me off.
So I'll give you a song.
Tell me.
So that's Ndofaya. So that's the song. That's the song by the TKZ families and them. So that's the song that I'm gonna appropriate to you.
Are you gonna give it? Does that belong to me?
Yes, that I think represent. That soundtrack of our youthfulness back in the days and the like. Viv, thank you very much for coming through and sharing with us. Surely we need part 2. There's a lot that we didn't touch on, but I think you have been able to at least tantalize and the creatives, everybody in the sports sponsorship, in sports entertainment. There's some nuggets that they will have taken out of this conversation, and it's such a pleasure and privilege to have you and your talents and in your generosity availed to us. We don't take it for granted. We honor and we respect you, and we're proud of the work that you put in. Thank you very much for coming through to our show.
No, thank you, really. I love sharing and spending time chatting about things that really are. It's to create a better Gauteng, a better South Africa for the for the next generation to come. So thank you for this opportunity. Part 2, no problem. I think next time we need to have more engagement. Like, it would be nice to have people asking questions.
The audience got you.
Getting calls in, and
There you got it. Next time you will be part of our live studio audience when we engage you with this phenomenon powerhouse, this phenomenon women, this energy that is housed in this wonderful soul, Vivian Casaletti. That has been another exciting edition of Gauteng Live, your premier platform where we share, tell, and engage on everything the visitor economy. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are at I Love Gauteng on Facebook, Gauteng Tourism Authority on Twitter. We are at Visit Gauteng and Instagram. You can download the Visit Gauteng mobile app if you are running a small business, a tourism business, events business. Load in your details in there for free. We will be able to use the Visit Gauteng mobile app to reach to thousands and thousands of subscribers and share your details, your business, and your offering with them. Until the next episode, second round.